Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of our own approach on unlocking all the characters in Duel Links. We are in 7th world and Nail spawned in at level 20, which means I can take the opportunity to clear a few missions. In this one specifically, I want to activate a trap card and deal 8000 or more points of damage in a single duel against him. And how do we do that? Well, luckily for us, he has an opportunity to heal his life points. Besides that, I get his life points as close to 0 as I can without actually defeating him, like leaving him with 100 life points or whatever, and then I attack with a high attack points monster, like, I don't know, maybe my 7th Rogue Magician or whatever, that I can beef up, and therefore I should be able to clear this mission in that way. Also, what I'm trying to accomplish in this duel specifically is I'm gathering my materials for my maximum summon that I need to perform against him. And the maximum summon that I want is Harpy Sisters. Unfortunately for me though, he thins out his deck and he even mills some of my cards from my deck to the graveyard, and one of them is one of the Harpy Sisters that I need to actually perform the maximum summon, which means I won't be able to do it in this duel, but that is fine because I have to duel him again later anyways to clear some more missions. And while I'm doing that, I actually will be able to unlock him eventually. And one mission for Nail that I haven't done yet was that I think Gavin, was it, that had to summon a total of 10 fairy-type monsters, or fairy-type monsters 10 times, which is a difference, mind you. And I did this against standard duelists eventually, but at this point I don't think I am at that point just yet. So Nail himself is not really a difficult opponent, not even at level 30. I don't know about him at level 40 though, since I don't have the level 40 gate and I won't have the level 40 gate like at all during this playthrough. So we're back in DM world now, and we can duel Odion at level 30, who luckily for me spawned in. I say luckily because I can save some gate keys that way. So Odion has two missions. Number one is that we win against him at level 30. I can do this with any character, and I chose to do it with Mai. And then the other mission is that we have to activate 3 trap cards in a single duel against any opponent, which is pretty simple and pretty straightforward because the Loomis and Umbra missions also have one mission that says activate a certain amount of trap cards against them. I think it's 4 in a single duel against them. Besides that, you can just put any, like 3 or 4 traps into your deck and get the mission done. And the more difficult one is actually getting a win against him at level 30, which we just did. So it wasn't really that difficult in the end. And that means we unlock Odion. So with our first proper unlock in this episode, we can move on to the next one immediately after. And honestly, at this point, I want to get the Vassal Farm and the opportunity for a Vassal Farm, and therefore I need to unlock Ishizu, which is the exact reason I went to the level 30 gate and tried to challenge her. So there are 2 missions for Ishizu. One of them is of course that we defeat her at level 30 with any opponent, and the other mission is that we win against Ishizu at any level with 6000 or more life points left. There is this one monster in Rebecca's starter deck which gives us life points during each of our standby phases when we have it on the field, and that's quite nice. Also, it helps if your player is Joey and use the skill Life Point Boost Alpha, which makes you start with 1000 life points more, so 5000 in total. And besides that, you could just beef up your life points with spell cards like Blue Medicine or whatever it is. So having said that, it shouldn't be a problem to get 6000 or more life points against Ishizu at level 10 or 20, and if you are daring, you could even try it against her at level 30. Either way, defeating her at level 30 after this allows us to unlock her. And with this, we just need to get her to level 3, and therefore will be able to grab Gravekeeper's Vessel from the level up rewards. Now I'm in Arc 5 world and I want to use one Super Ultra card ticket on a copy of Odd Eyes Lancer Dragon. This guy is needed for one unlock mission, and you could get lucky and get it from a drop reward after dueling Yuya. I, however, wasn't lucky, so I have to use one of my Super Ultra tickets. But it is what it is. And you may be lucky, you may not be lucky, but you can get a card like this easily, and therefore it shouldn't be a problem. Having said that, I want to put it into my deck here, and want to duel Shay. Shay at level 10 spawned in, and the two missions that I want to go for here are that we perform 2 pendulum summons and summon Odd Eyes Lancer Dragon, which are 2 easy missions. However, the problem is that I don't really have a pendulum based deck, and therefore have to make do with what I have, which are just a few pendulum monsters from the Odd Eyes Challenger structure deck and some level up cards like a Perform Mapel Gonk or whatever it's called, and Silver Claw, of course, from leveling up Yuya. And therefore, getting pendulum summons out is quite inconsistent for me, but I'm trying my darndest here. And I just got what I needed, so I can perform the pendulum summons, which means we need to wait until we can summon Odd Eyes Lancer Dragon, eventually. There are actually a few missions, character unlock missions in Arc 5 World that require us to get some pendulum summons in against certain characters like Declan, I think, and some more. So training and getting some practice in here for pendulum summons couldn't hurt. Then there are some more missions left for Shay, but we do not need to care about those until a little later. Because, well, we need to unlock Sora first before we can unlock Shay. And with Shay we will be able to get Lulu and also Dennis McField. So yeah, getting Shay actually not the worst thing we could do. And getting Shay early, that is, of course. Like, there's one more mission for Shay that I want to talk about right now, even though we're not doing it until much later, which is that we need to win against him at level 30 with 1000 or less life points remaining, and that one is not fun. These things never are fun to me, actually. It's the same with in Vrain's world, like Varys. There's a mission that says that Playmaker has to win 2 duels against Varys at level 30 with 1000 or less life points remaining, and that just sucks, because he can deal effect damage to me, or he can overpower me with his monsters, or whatever, really. So, anyways, there's one specific character that I need to unlock soon, and that is Yugo, who is needed for quite a few unlocks. So I decided to go to the level 30 gate and challenge him with Yuya. So the 2 objectives in this one are that we summon Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, and of course that we win the duel. Getting Odd Eyes Pendulum Summon out might be difficult, because he, just like Yuto, has the ability to thin out his deck, and he does this with an alarming speed. So I need to get lucky, or have a strategy to get to my Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragons quickly. And the thing that I'm doing here again is I use the skill, which adds one of them to my deck, and I also have the one alternative artwork copy from the Odd Eyes Challenger structure deck. So I'm actually playing 2 in this deck, and hope that I draw into one of them before he runs out of cards to draw and therefore loses the duel. But it is what it is, and I should really stop saying this all the time. But there are some more missions, of course, not just summoning Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon and winning. I mean, that's all that Yuya needs to do against him, but we have some missions for Yuto as well. So Yuto has to do something. And then there was one mission that stated that we collect 3 synchro monsters, and that already happened courtesy of the Stardust Nexus structure deck, which gave me a few synchro monsters to work with. Also, I got Shooting Star Dragon from the Lifetimes card list last time, and yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. Also, you can get like Gigantic Castle, or what is it, Cloud Castle, or whatever it's called. which are available at the card trader. You could use some of your card tickets on Synchro Monsters, so it should not really be a problem, but by just buying the Stardust Nexus structure deck, I got my 3 Synchro Monsters for the Yugo mission, which also includes the 3 Synchro Monsters I needed to collect for one of the missions for Rin eventually. So that is quite nice that we could cover both of these with just one purchase, and as I've been saying in the past, Stardust Nexus is a structure deck that helps me with unlocking characters because it provides me with some needed cards, and one of them is of course the Stardust Dragon. But hey, we are still trying to win the duel here and summon Odion Pendulum Dragon and do some more stuff to just get this over with. Yugo's missions aren't really that difficult, I would argue, but everyone struggles in their own right. So it could be hard for you, it couldn't be hard for you, it could be easy, it could be hard for me, and so on. And there are some characters that I'm dreading and some of their missions that I'm dreading simply because I find them to be difficult. For example, that Playmaker has to get a comeback victory against Blue Angel at level 30. How do I do that without losing the duel entirely is beyond me. And you could be like, oh come on dude, Blue Angel level 30 is not a difficult opponent. And fair game. Anyways, we can now clear the 2 remaining missions for Yugo, so I needed to swap to Yuto, and the 2 objectives are that we summon Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon against him and, of course, win. So Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon is added to my extra deck with the starting skill, so once you unlock Yuto, you get the skill, and therefore you will be able to do this even without a purchase of Odd Eyes Challenger. But I purchased Odd Eyes Challenger and therefore have a copy of the Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon in my extra deck, so simply by having 2 level 4 monsters on the field, I will be able to overlay them into Dark Rep and then win the duel. However, I'm not doing this right away since I want to save my Dark Rebellion's effect for when it actually needs to happen and actually matters and helps me out here. So he's summoning his Synchro Monster, his Sagoida, and that should be a prime target for Dark Rebellion's effect to cut its attack points in half and also gain some attack points for Dark Rebellion. So now we can do it and simply win the duel now. Yay! Okay, that wasn't too bad. And actually I prefer this one over the Odion Pendulum Dragon, since you need to hard draw into Odion Pendulum Dragon, but as soon as you have 2 level 4 monsters on the field, you can make Dark Rebellion, and therefore clear Yugo's unlock missions quite easily. So we can now move on after unlocking Yugo here and swap to Yugo because I have some plans for him. However, not right away, since right away we are going into DSOD world, and we actually managed to banish a total of 10 cards of our opponent by using Junk Archer's effect. And by banishing 10 cards, we can now get Scud's unlock missions. The hidden requirement was to banish 10 of your opponent's cards. Previously it was banish 300, and that was just stupid and ridiculous and unnecessary for a character that no one even likes, or that I don't even like. Maybe you like him, it's up to you. Anyways, we can make Scud appear now thanks to Junk Archer that again I got from the Stardust Nexus structure deck, and it's a fine purchase. And I like it every time I do it. So we are now playing as DSOD Joey and hopefully defeat Yugi at level 10 who just spawned in DSOD world. So the objective that I have here is that I summon 3 spellcaster type monsters. I could have done this before, but it is what it is. And previously the mission was like Yami Yugi has to win, I think 1 duel, was it? Against DSOD Yugi with spellcasters only. So being able to play as any character and just summon a few spellcasters seems like it's a reasonable mission and way easier to accomplish. So we are not done with Yugi's unlock missions just yet, but for that one I prepared a replay. yet again. So let's go into the replays and let me tell you what happened here. I'm playing as DSOD Seto, who dueled Yugi, DSOD Yugi, at level 10 when Yugi spawned in. And the objective for this one is that we summon a level 10 or higher dragon monster. And you can even do this free to play. But how? Well, simply by using his skill Ultimate Dragons, which you basically get from the start after unlocking DSOD Seto to begin with. And that skill adds a bunch of monsters to your extra deck, and one of them is Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, which happens to be a level 10 dragon monster that you can summon by fusing 2 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. So I take 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon that I have, slap them into the deck and also a polymerization or 2, and then try to fusion summon it. And you just need 2 of the Blue Eyes to summon the Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, and that should be enough. Now that I summoned it, I can attack and probably go for game. The other missions were that Seto gets 3 no damage wins in, so wins without taking damage. That one happened against a few standard duelists and also against DSOD Mokuba. Then we also summoned 3 rock-type monsters and 3 warriors against standard duelists in DSOD World. So nothing to write home about and nothing too crazy. But it is crazy that we already have another character, that being of course DSOD Yugi. Now I think it is a good time to go into the card tickets, and honestly these 2 you don't really need, I just grab them because I want them. 2 super rare tickets that I'm spending on 1 copy of Anti-Magic Arrows and 1 copy of Union Attack. These 2 cards help me with my Vassal Farms, and as I said, you don't need them, you could make do without them, but it's better to have them, and I feel more comfortable that way. Anti-Magic Arrows prevents my opponent from actually activating any spell trap cards, and Union Attack buffs my monster even more, my Gravekeeper's Vessel. Anyways, that's it for today. So, thanks for sticking with me here, and thank you for watching.